2025, so let us thank these legendary celebrities who are veterans of the U.S. military. This sailor signs up for the U.S. Navy in 1943 to go fight in World War II, but never saw any action and never went overseas. After his tour, he decides to use his GI Bill to learn about acting and brings along his music. This is the King of Calypso, Harry Belafonte. This sailor signs up during World War II and wanted to be an entertainer for the Navy. Back then, you could do that. The Navy said no and put him on the USS Cyrene. But he never gave up because this sailor grew up to be the legendary comedian Don Rickles. In 1943, again, this sailor, wow, there's a lot of sailors today. This sailor first enlists into the Navy, then becomes an officer in the Navy. He boards the USS Pennsylvania in the Pacific, decoding Japanese communications. After his tour, he ends up becoming the legendary talk show host, Johnny Carson. During the Korean War, this soldier, hey, we finally broke the Navy trend. This soldier gets drafted into the U.S. Army and serves at Fort Ord in California. While he's there, he becomes a lifeguard and a swim coach for the U.S. Army. This is the legendary actor, Clint Eastwood. On purpose, I'm covering up his name. This soldier signs up for the U.S. Army and serves in the California Army National Guard. As a matter of fact, he is still the spokesperson for the Vietnam Veterans Memorial Fund. This is the legendary actor, Tom Selleck. During World War II, this soldier gets drafted into the U.S. Army to the 63rd Infantry Division, Blood and Fire. His service takes him to France and into Germany. While he's serving with the Army, he starts singing with the military band, and he kept on singing until his death in 2023. This is the legendary singer, Tony Bennett. After leaving the Bahamas, this soldier ends up in New York but couldn't find a job, so enlisted in the U.S. Army. He lies about his age and was only 16 when he joined. He becomes a medical attendant at a mental institution in New York. This is one of my favorite all-time legendary actors, Sidney Poitier. There's a myth that this actor was a drill instructor for the U.S. Marine Corps. It's entirely false. As a matter of fact, this soldier was drafted into the U.S. Army in 1943 and worked in services as a ventriloquist. This is the legendary actor, Don Knotts. In 1943, wow, such an iconic year. 1943, this soldier signs up for the Army and ends up being in the Army Air Corps. As a matter of fact, upon discharge, he receives a Purple Heart for wounds he sustained as a B-29 tail gunner. After his service, he uses his GI Bill to learn about acting and becomes the legendary actor, Charles Bronson. In 1947, this fun-loving guy decides to join the Marines and gets promoted. And demoted. And promoted. And demoted again. And then promoted. And then demoted again. As a matter of fact, he is quoted to say that there was no Marine worse than him. But during an Arctic training exercise, he ends up saving 5 men from drowning. And as a result, he gets to be an honor guardsman for President Harry Truman. This is the legendary actor, Steve McQueen. In 1968, this soldier signs up for AFN, or the Armed Forces Network, a job that I had. And he was radio, a job that I had. And he made a mistake, which is something that I've done too. As a matter of fact, his mistake was that he cut off President Nixon's Christmas message to the troops too early. Oops. This guy ends up being the host of Wheel of Fortune, Pat Sajak. In 1956, this doctor decides he wants to enlist in the Navy just like his dad did. He ends up being a physical therapist for troops coming back from the Korean War. Later on, he decides to get his doctorate in education, and along the way, ends up being the legendary comedian and actor, Bill Cosby. During World War II, this soldier gets drafted into the U.S. Army. As a matter of fact, he was a combat engineer during the famous Battle of the Bulge. He ends up being one of my all-time favorite directors and actors. This is the legendary director who has a movie coming out here pretty soon, Mel Brooks. This is the last one, I swear, but I wanted to recognize a lot of them because it's Veterans Day 2025. This actor gets drafted into the U.S. Army in 1945 and becomes a DJ for AFN Italy, the same job that I had. This is the voice of Kit and taught a lot of us as Mr. Sweeney. This is the legendary actor, William Daniels. What other celebrities should I do? Class dismissed.